After passing that threshold, I feel so safe all of a sudden. I think it has something to do with the coffin, the vessel. Ironic that something like that can bring a sense of calmness. Strange. Can't imagine the doctor getting much use from this, even back when he was a human. Lovely vanity, though. There's plenty of room for my outfits. And look, there's already one in here. Must be the one the doctor mentioned. I wonder why he has it in the first place. I should check out the general store for more room decor options. I want to look around more before I go to sleep. It's almost sunrise. I shouldn't leave the house at this hour. That's a nice place to store my keepsakes. Don't you go anywhere, Matilda. Huh. The window goes out directly to the main street. Could come in handy now that I can actually fly. It's been a long night. Time for a little rest.
Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Who is this?
Come over to the window.
Oh, it's only you. You scared me half to death. What do you need?
I have some business from the Countess to discuss with you. Would you kindly invite me in?
The window is already open. Why the formalities?
Have you not read about this in your vampire stories? We can't come into someone else's chambers unless we are invited.
That makes sense. You don't want guests like us to drop by unannounced.
It's a real pain in the ass, if you ask me. Hunting would have been so much easier without technicalities like this. So, will you let me in or not?
Oh, that's right. Come in, please.
Nice place you got yourself over here. The good doctor must want to keep you comfortable.
The doctor has been very kind.
See, cold calculation, bargaining, even extortion, that I understand. The intentions are clear. Kindness is where I get suspicious.
As cynical as it sounds, I think you might be onto something. I'll keep an eye on him.
Great minds think alike.
In any case, you're not here to discuss human character, are you?
That's very true. Let's cut to the chase. Countess would like you to run a quick errand for her, and if everything goes well, she will be very grateful.
What's the favor?
There's this young couple in town, Evgeny and Anastasia. More importantly, they are related to the new mayor, Savely Skortsov. I think Evgeny is his second nephew or whatnot. No matter. According to our sources, the mayor occasionally stores important documentation in their house. Do you see where I'm going with this?
You don't want me to rob their house, do you?
That's a rather tactless way to put it. Countess would simply like you to retrieve said documentation. Before you say anything, remember that she allowed your conversion to be completed and virtually saved you from death.
That doesn't seem like the right thing to do. Do I have any say in all this?
I really want to say yes, but sadly, that's just not the position you are in just yet.
Sounds like there isn't much choice in this favor. I guess I have no other option.
Splendid. All you need to do is to befriend Anastasia or Evgeny and get invited into their house. Then you can enter any time and get what you need without them ever finding out.
And how do I know it's them?
He's a hotshot poet, and she is one of those sensitive, artistic types. What else? Oh, they are both blondes. I always found that peculiar.
What else can you tell me about Anastasia?
Not much. Although I do often see her going in and out of the church.
You go to church.
Heavens, no. But the roof of it is my favorite spot in town. I'd like to smoke there on occasion.
Where should I look for Evgeny?
Let's see. He is a mediocre poet who, surprise, surprise, enjoys an occasional shot of vodka. I would start your search at Arbin's Literary Salon.
What kind of documents am I looking for?
All I can say to you right now is that you'll know them when you'll see them.
That's not very helpful.
That will have to do.
I think I've got it from here.
Remember, just befriend one of them and get an invitation to their house. This will come in handy when you'll have to hunt, too. I'll check in a few days and see where you're at. Almost forgot. Here's a little something for incidentals.
Thank you.
Enjoy your new life. I'll see you around.
Too bad I can't see my reflection in mirrors anymore. I wonder if I will one day forget my face. Dr. Volkov, may I have a word?
Come in. Welcome, Miss Morozova. Appreciate you coming over straight away. Punctuality is a highly important quality in a doctor. I trust you had a restful night? Or rather, day, I suppose.
I did, thank you. Never thought that sleeping in a coffin would be so comfortable.
Yes, well, we have a lot to cover, don't we? Where would you like to start?
I'd love to start with my medical duties, if you don't mind. You mentioned you might have some tasks for me?
I most certainly do. As of last month, the only other doctor in the area passed away, God rest his soul. Not that he was that much help. Human medicine has always been a step behind. But, I admit, with most of my time spent on new research, the work did start to pile up. There is some administrative and patient work I'd like you to take care of. Is this something you think you can handle?
Certainly. What should I start with?
Do you remember the woman who was here when you arrived?
Of course. Faina, isn't it?
That's right. As your first assignment, I'd like you to pay her a home visit and look over the bite spot on her neck. I've observed some curious rashes around tick bites in my time. I don't exactly know if there's a correlation, but best to make sure she's doing well. She lives in our building, so shouldn't be much trouble anyway.
Will do.
Splendid. As for the rest of the tasks, you'll find them all in the journal on my desk. Feel free to borrow my medical bag and use the lab as needed. I myself am particularly proud of my lab's blood testing instruments. I dare say they are far ahead of any mortal medical equipment. To more material matters, your allowance will be distributed gradually as you progress.
Understood. I'll get to it then.
Looking forward to tracking your progress. A doctor's work is never done.
Doctor's medical bag. It holds everything I need in case of an emergency. Can't put a cloth on this one. Would only raise questions. Makes for a strange reality check every time I come back home. This must be where Faina lives. Good evening. I'm Dr. Volkov's new apprentice. He sent me over to check in on you. Is this a good time?
I know who you are, Lisa. Of course, come have some tea with me. I always brew too much. Eyes bigger than my stomach, I guess.
Yes, please. I could use a little break. Thank you. Oh, it smells heavenly.
It's juniper, my favorite. With a spoonful of honey, nothing beats it. Try some. Tell me what you think.
You weren't kidding. It reminds me of the times my mother would make tea for my brother and me when we were little.
Sounds lovely, dear.
It was. Although, I don't think it was about the tea itself, more about the little plates she poured it in for us instead of cups.
We can certainly arrange that if you'd like.
That's all right, thank you. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll start missing them even more.
Poor dear. Did the work take you far from home?
Further than I expected, that's for sure. For some reason, I just feel like telling her everything. I should change the subject before I say something I shouldn't. Do you live here all by yourself?
I wouldn't say I'm all alone. My plants always keep me company. From time to time, that handsome gentleman in the armchair pays me a visit. And if ever I'm in trouble, I have some lovely neighbors to bother. I'm never alone, not really.
Are you from around here, Faina?
Oh no, dear. I happened to wander quite a bit before I settled here. Although, I reckon I've stayed in this town longer than you've been alive.
And where have you lived before?
Many places, sweetheart. Oh, far too many places.
Anything I should know about life here?
Let's see. For one, the townsfolk tend to be up quite late around these parts. Sort of a local quirk. They say it goes way back. Not sure how it started, but most places tend to stay open well into the night. I was always a night owl myself, so that never bothered me. But darkness and danger go hand in hand.
Danger?
Lots of temptation, whether you seek it or not. It's like my mother used to say, little dove. Keep your heart open, but your mind sharp.
She sounds like a wise woman.
Oh, she was, dear. Much wiser than I'll ever be, anyway.
Is that your cat over there? What's his name?
No, I could never tame that one. He's too much of a free spirit. Comes and goes as he pleases. Always a surprise.
How rude of him.
He's so handsome that I don't mind. Never gave him a name, though.
Well, as nice as this has been, we should probably start the examination. So, how are you feeling? Any noticeable rashes or discomfort?
Oh, I feel just fine, dear. Thank you for asking. The heat's been getting the best of me lately, though.
Didn't think it was that warm outside. But then again, maybe I just haven't spent enough time in my new body.
Anyway, I say there's no such thing as bad weather. To each their own.
It seems like there's nothing worrisome on your neck. Still, if you notice anything, make sure to let me or the doctor know.
Of course, dear.
Huh. It seems like you do have a mild fever.
Anything I should worry about?
This may be a great opportunity to use Dr. Volkov's experimental lab equipment. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about, but just in case, let's take a blood sample, shall we?
Whatever you say, Doctor.
Just relax. It will only hurt for a second. Perfect. Now, have some more tea and a nice rest. I'll take this to the laboratory.
Thank you for stopping by, dear.
I should be going. Might I stop by again sometime to check in on you?
That would be lovely. You're always welcome in this house.
Thank you for the tea again. It was delicious.
You're welcome, little dove. Come again soon.
Faina's plants are so well kept. She almost treats them like they are her equals. Faina's plants are so well kept. The air in this flat smells different, fresher than in the rest of town. I think it must be the plant's way of paying Faina back for her devotion. And just like that, he's gone. I hope I'll get to see you again, my elusive buddy. It's a storage room for the building. That's also where packages are delivered for tenants to pick up. No mail for me this time. Faina must be the one that keeps things looking nice around here. I bet Dr. Volkov wouldn't remember to take care of flowers to save his life.
Lisa.
May I ask how you were turned?
As your sire, I do owe you my story, but I have to warn you, it's a rather gruesome one. Are you sure you'd like to hear it?
After my time in the Countess's basement, I don't think much could shock me.
Well, if you must know. It was a feral that attacked me and my wife at the time, Clara. It struck our carriage one night as we were travelling through the woods coming from a party.
A feral?
A vampire that has been driven mad by their lust for blood.
I didn't realize such creatures existed outside of folklore.
They're a cautionary tale of what can happen to us if one overindulges for years on end. It all happened in the blink of an eye. As I recall, the vehicle turned over and we both tumbled to the dirt. He feasted on Clara first and bled her dry.
How horrible. I'm so sorry for your loss.
It's been some time now, so it doesn't hurt quite as much, but thank you, dear. In any case, his appetite must have somewhat subsided. Still, it wasn't enough for the beast, so he sunk his teeth into my neck. Suddenly, a blind rage overcame me, and I bit off part of his ear. Immortal being or not, I can tell you with certainty he didn't like it one bit.
I can imagine.
That must have snapped him out of his frenzy. He looked around as if just awoken, observed what he'd done, and rapidly retreated. Somehow, I managed to get home by morning, but the nightmare didn't end that night.
You must have swallowed some of his blood when you bit him, and...
Precisely. You must have read about the turning ritual in human folklore. Well done. All kinds of knowledge tends to come in handy from time to time, even silly fairy tales.
So, what happened after you returned?
We'll talk more about this some other time, perhaps. There's much work we must attend to now.
Of course. What should I work on today? What incredible lab instruments! It's as if I'm looking into the future or reading a Jules Verne book. Let's take a look at the doctor's notes. I'm sure I can figure it out. Perfect. Now I should wait some time to check the results. They should be ready tomorrow, but if I wait longer than that, it may be too late. Local music school. The local vodka bar. Wait a second. I can sense he isn't human. Could it be that a vampire is working here?
Greetings.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice that you are... not quite like the others around here.
Yes, I am what you think I am. Name's Yurgis.
I'm Lisa.
Pleasure. If you're ever in need of Cabernet, let me know. It's actually affordable here, unlike that posh place Arbin runs.
Yes?
I'd like to play some cards.
Mademoiselle Morozova, what a pleasure to have you in my establishment.
How do you know my name?
Let me just say I take pride in knowing my customers. So, what can I do for you today? Would you like a sweet pint of lager? Or the freshest Cabernet you've ever tasted? Perhaps a cheeky game of cards?
Booze here smells just like surgical spirit. The owners don't seem to be too concerned with hygiene. The clientele doesn't seem to mind, though. You have to be quite drunk to dare to eat here, but then again, that's what this place is for.
Perched upon a rotting barrow, my eyes survey the fallow field, where once the wheat grew tall and narrow, now crops bestow a paltry yield. The bitter wind turns lakes to stillness, no saplings in the frozen earth. The farmer's wife now writhes with illness as embers die upon the hearth. See how in the forest hollow the firewood it gathers moss, while in the tavern, ripe with sorrow, the farmer drinks to his great loss. Now raise a toast to her, my brother, nature shall we never scorn. Though often a tempestuous mother, we may yet see the summer's dawn.
Bravo!
Thank you. Thank you kindly, dear friends.
I presume you are the famous Evgeny Skvortsov?
I don't know how famous I am, but I certainly am him. And whom do I owe the pleasure?
I'm Lisa, the doctor's new recruit. I was looking around and came in here just in time for the poem. Is that something new?
Enchanté, Lisa. The poem is actually from my old book. I'm having a bit of writer's block recently.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's nothing that a nice drink won't cure.
The crowd sure seemed to love your performance.
It appears that way. And what did you think?
Can I be honest?
Please.
To me, it sounded like someone enjoys Byron a tad too much.
Well, I am guilty of admiring his work. I suppose you may be right.
Don't act too surprised, please.
It's silly. No matter how much praise you get, criticism is always the only thing that sticks with you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
Well, perhaps to console me, you could do a vodka shot with me.
Vodka isn't really something I drink nowadays.
You know that nobody actually likes vodka, don't you? It's designed to be terrible, to make you feel terrible. That's why it's a perfect companion for your misery. After all, isn't that why people drink in the first place?
What a compelling pitch.
Advertising is what poets are really made for, isn't it?
I don't see why not. Let's share our misery.
to the art of poetry. May it continue to shape minds and move the human spirit.
Hear, hear.
Whew, that went down easy. Say, Lisa, perhaps you've rescued me from my writer's block. I just might have a stroke of inspiration.
Delightful news, although I'm not sure I can take credit for it.
Nonsense. That's what muses always do. Inspire naturally, without even realizing it. Why don't you come back another night? You'll be my first audience and judge.
Are you sure you want me to be the critic?
You clearly aren't afraid to speak your mind, and for this, I need someone I can trust.
I'll be looking forward to it.
Well, you know what they say. The break is short between the first and the second shot. I'll go chat with Arben and get some more.
Have fun with your misery, companion.
Oh, we always do.
The community board. Let's see. Politics, local events, lifestyle columns. Quite a lot of missing people listings. Interesting. Too bad I can't eat pastries anymore. At least I can still enjoy the smell.
What can I do for you? There you go.
What can I do for you?
If I ever need to send a letter, I can drop it off here. This must be Anastasia. I should come up and introduce myself. Good sermon today?
More or less the same one as always. But then again, people don't usually go to the church expecting plot twists.
Well, at least it's good enough for someone to come more than once.
I suppose that's true. Forgive me. I don't believe I've seen you around here before. Are you new in town?
I arrived just a couple days ago.
Oh, in that case, let me welcome you to the town. My husband and I are relatively new here ourselves. My name is Anastasia, by the way. I teach at the quaint little music school down the road.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Lisa. I work as an apprentice under the doctor. The church choir here sounds remarkable. The tenor in particular is something else.
Doesn't it?
I must admit, I didn't expect to hear something like that in such a small town.
I couldn't agree more. You have quite an ear for music.
You sound surprised. Do I give off such a bad impression?
Oh no, it's just that I rarely meet anyone I have a lot in common with around here. Not anymore, at least.
A music teacher? That must be so rewarding.
It's true. When I see a spark of passion in a student, especially a child, it does make my day 1,000 times brighter. Do you play an instrument yourself?
I used to play fiddle when I was little. Not anymore.
Ah, that's a real shame. But trust me, it's never too late to pick up an instrument again.
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
I'm sorry, it's time for me to head home. My husband is waiting. I hope. But perhaps you'd like to keep me company on the way back.
Who would refuse a stroll on such a nice summer evening?
The tenor that you so precisely placed belongs to Father Mikhail. Father Mikhail has a true gift. His voice is unbelievable. I find it very difficult to listen when he speaks, or agree with anything he says. But when he sings, I just can't help myself.
It is frustrating when you can't deny the talent in a person you don't admire.
Isn't that the truth? So, are you planning to come visit the church yourself?
Probably not. I'm not actually all that religious.
If I'm completely honest with you, I come there mostly to listen to the choir. The lights are off.
Is something wrong?
Nothing really. My husband. I don't think he's home yet. Well, it was such a pleasure to meet you, Lisa. Would you stop by my school when you have a moment? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And who knows, perhaps we can revive some of your old music skills. That never goes away, you know. Not fully.
Of course. I would like nothing more.
Splendid! We are open from Wednesdays to Saturdays.
I'll make sure to drop by. Have a good night, Anastasia.
Good night, Lisa.
The lights are on. Someone must be at home. Locked. 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 I should try again earlier in the day. That's one messy path. I'd rather wait for it to be tidied up. That's one messy path. I'd rather wait for it to be tidied up. Perfect. I'll simply unlatch it from here.
Shoo!
What a magnificent instrument. It seems to have a life of its own. I can imagine it having a wise, graceful personality. I can't believe Anastasia is able to play all those instruments. She's so talented. What an interesting collection. You can see how much effort Anastasia puts into her work. I can't believe Anastasia is able to play all those instruments. She's so talented.
Lizaveta?
Dr. Volkov, I have some questions. I'd like to ask about my situation, if that's all right. It was you who turned me into a vampire, wasn't it?
That is correct.
But I don't remember anything from that day. What exactly happened?
Lisa, I want you to know that I take full responsibility for what happened to you. As your sire, I promise to do my best to ease your transition as a vampire.
However,
in my professional opinion, forcing this memory may be highly detrimental to a fledgling psyche. I can't, in good conscience, reveal the repressed memory of your death before it resurfaces on its own.
all right. I understand.
Trust me, this is for your own good. I will tell you one thing, though. In your case, it was either this or death, and I didn't make that choice lightly. I hope that eases your mind, even if only a little.
I was wondering if perhaps you could take a look at something for me. I felt a strange burning sensation on my upper shoulder on the night of my awakening. I check it myself, but sadly, mirrors are of little help lately.
Yes, of course. Let me have a peek. Most peculiar. That does not seem like a medical issue, but rather a magical interference that causes a bond. Not too uncommon, sadly, among us. I wish our kind referred to science more often than to that otherworldly nonsense.
Is it bad?
This isn't quite my area, so I'm hesitant to offer a diagnosis, but that being said, it's likely to have been applied by a foreign entity. Depending on that entity, it could be rather harmless or
Or
Or not. You didn't happen to see who might have left it on you, did you?
no. Whoever it was must have been behind the closed door.
I see. In that case, I'm afraid it's one of those wait-and-see situations, dear. Let me know if you have any updates.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll keep you posted.
You're most welcome, dear.
Well, I was wondering about the vanity.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it was even there. Would you like me to cover it with something? I know some of us don't like to be reminded of our condition that way.
Oh, it's not that. I just wanted to ask who lived there before me. Presumably a human lady?
Oh. Well, if you must know, it used to be my daughter's room.
Your daughter?
Yes, however, it's been vacant for quite some time now. Didn't feel right to have all that space unused, so it's a good thing that it finally serves a purpose. Again. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Doesn't seem like he wants to talk about this now. Maybe I should ask another time. I should check out the general store for more room decor options. Mama? What's wrong, Lisa? Why aren't you asleep? I can't. Would you sing me the lullaby, please? Oh, all right. Let me tuck you back in. Now close your eyes and listen. Hush now, the sun's gone to sleep. Close your eyes, rest now in peace. In the morn you'll awake and the darkness will flee, and the light will await you and me, await you and me. You sing so well, Mommy. Do you think I'll be able to sing like you when I grow up? You can do anything you put your mind to when you grow up. Anything at all. Ooh, really? I hope everyone will like it when I sing too. Of course they will, my sunshine. Now, rest your little eyes. Good night, Mommy. Sweet dreams, my darling.
Lisa. Lisa.
What? What's going on? Why is the window open?
Your soul is mine.
Who is this? Where are you?
Ah! Damn candle.
Hussar? What are you doing here?
I got you, didn't I?
Was this all a prank? You didn't get me. After all the nonsense I've seen, it takes more than a floating candle to scare me.
Looks like someone is a sore loser.
How did you manage to do all this?
Well, I already had your warm invitation, so I helped myself to your room. And then I turned invisible for a hilarious prank.
Turn invisible. We can do that?
Uh-huh. Didn't I tell you?
I think I'd remember it if you did.
Could have sworn I told you. Want to try it now? Just hold your breath and relax. It will come to you. There you go. Where's Lisa? I don't know.
You really can't see me?
I cannot. Otherwise, you wouldn't be invisible, would you? Oh, now that I think about it, that could have been another hilarious jape. Lord only knows what you would be up to thinking you're invisible. What a missed opportunity. Ah!
Now that's a funny jape.
That's just immature. Be careful with this ability. You can only stay invisible for so long before your power starts draining. You have to remember to take breaks in between. Now that we've all had our fun, how are things going with the happy couple?
I met Evgeny and got to know him a little.
Charming fellow, huh? I'm sure you two will hit it off. Do you think this is who you will use to get the invitation?
I don't see why not. We seem to get along.
Obviously, it doesn't really matter to the Countess who you choose as long as you get that invitation and those documents. On a personal note, though, it may not always be better to pick who you like more.
How so?
When it comes to the hunt, it's those who you get close to that get hurt. Just something to consider.
I haven't thought this far ahead. Thanks for the tip, Hussar.
Just something to consider. Anyhow, I suppose my job here is done.
Job? I'm sorry, do they pay you to play tricks on people?
I never thought about it this way. Maybe my line of work isn't so bad. Good luck with the invitation. I'll be rooting for you. Kind of.
Too bad I can't see my reflection in mirrors anymore. I wonder if I will one day forget my face. I should remember to pick up Faina's results from the doctor's lab today, otherwise they may expire. What should I work on today? All right, let's take a look at the results. Huh. It appears she could have rheumatic fever. Rather unusual for her age. I should pay her a visit.
Hello, Lisa.
Dr. Volkov, I have some questions. Well, it must be an interesting position, being a vampire doctor and treating humans.
I suppose it is. But like with everything else, give it enough time and you'll get used to it. In a way, I'm sort of a link between the two groups. I have insight into humanity that our kind tends to lose touch with, as well as knowledge that humans don't accumulate due to, well, death.
What do you do when you have to explain fang marks on bodies?
Ah, that's not nearly as much of an issue as one would think. Tell the humans it's a snake bite, and nobody bats an eye. Oldest trick in the book.
Huh. Creative. I'm quite enjoying my room. Thank you again for your hospitality. I've never had a space to myself before.
Very pleased to hear that.
Since it seems that I'm here indefinitely, would you mind if I maybe decorate it a bit? Make it more my own?
Yes. Yes, of course. Perhaps the room could use a caring touch after all these years. There's a general store between the church and the salon. You can try ordering some new items there. Make yourself at home.
Thank you. I'll make sure to stop by. Good evening. How are you feeling, Faina?
I'm all right, dear, thank you. Just feeling a little weary today.
I actually came to talk with you about the test results.
Oh?
I believe you may have rheumatic fever. It's much more commonly found in children, so this would be a rather rare case.
Well, people always tell me that I am still a child at heart. Perhaps they are more right about it than they think, huh? Is this something I should be concerned about?
If it is what I think it is, with the right treatment, we should be able to fix you in no time. I am glad we caught it at this stage, though. Otherwise, there could have been some rather unpleasant complications. Here is something to help with the inflammation. Take it regularly, and you should feel better soon enough.
Thank you, little dove. What a lucky crone I am to have an angel like you next door.
I don't know if that's quite true.
Don't be shy, dear. You deserve it. Smart as a whip, pretty as a picture. If you stay true to your heart, I can just tell you will go far. This town needs someone like you. Now, more than ever.
Thank you. I'll see what I can do.
That's all one can do anyway, isn't it?
Would you like some help with the plants?
How sweet of you to offer. But I'm all right, dear. Taking care of them brings me joy. That will be my one good deed for the day.
One good deed?
Oh, that's just a silly rule of mine. Every day, no matter how small, I like to do at least one good thing. Helped out a stranger with directions. Great. Baked some cookies for the neighbors? Even better. Feeding the plants will do just fine for today.
That sounds lovely. Maybe I should do the same thing.
Well, off you go, little dove. Don't want to hold you with my ramblings any longer.
Good night, Faina. Feel better soon. It's a storage room for the building. That's also where packages are delivered for tenants to pick up. No mail for me this time.
Don't you give up, Marusa. You're making great progress.
I still can't get through the etude. My fingers just slip as if the strings were covered with butter. I hate it.
It's a hard piece. In a week, you'll go through it without even thinking, I promise. Practice makes perfect. Cheer up, sweetie. Go and get some fresh air. I'll see you in a couple of days.
Good night, Madame Skvortsova. Thank you. Evening.
What a magnificent instrument. It seems to have a life of its own. I can imagine it having a wise, graceful personality. Tough lesson.
Marusa's such a talented student. She just doesn't have the same advantages some other children do. Only she had an instrument to practice at home. She'd probably be playing in a concert hall already.
Is there anything we can do to help?
You are such a kind soul, Lisa. I am actually trying to raise a little money for instruments for some of my students. I put a little something there whenever I can. But times haven't been exactly easy lately.
How much do you still need to collect for Marusa's violin?
Those aren't cheap. I think I can get her a decent one for 15 more coins. We'll get there at some point. I'm so happy you stopped by. So, how do you like it here?
It's such a cozy little place. I wish I could have went to a school like this when I was growing up.
You mentioned you used to play the violin yourself.
Yes, when I was younger, but that was all so long ago. I don't remember any of it.
Oh, I don't believe that for a second. I bet you were great too.
No, I really wasn't. I did always dream of learning to play the piano, though.
Is that a fact?
My mother used to be very good. I loved listening to her and imagining I'd play just as well. But then we ended up selling it, and it never came to be.
What a shame. Lisa, I have a wonderful idea. Why don't we fix this injustice? Let me give you a free lesson.
Sure, why not? That's very kind of you.
Come, take a seat. I'll show you how it's done. There you go. Slow and steady. You have the fingers of a true pianist. So long and thin.
See, I'm hopeless. Looks like I was right to stick with medicine.
Nonsense, honey. This is only your first lesson. You must come back for more. We'll make you the next big thing. Just wait and see.
Thank you for the encouragement. You're quite a gifted teacher. Where did you learn to play?
Back in my hometown, where I lived before I met Evgeny, my husband. All I dreamt about was becoming a professional pianist. Write my own music.
Is that so?
I was doing rather well too. Performing at decent venues, getting noticed. But then we moved here. It was supposed to help Evgeny's career, renew his creativity. That was, of course, Before he... Never mind that. I am here now. And that's that.
What happened with Evgeny? You can trust me. I won't tell.
Thank you, Lisa. The truth is hardly a secret anyway. Evgeny started drinking soon after we moved to this godforsaken town. I mean, he always drank. Ever since I met him, really. But then again, who doesn't around here? Besides, he's a poet, you know. Artistic nature, people said. Let him be. But it has been getting worse and worse. Now every other night he isn't home.
I don't know if it helps, but my father is a drunk. He started when my brother and I were very young, and it hasn't been easy for us. If you need help or a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I'll make sure to remember. It's getting late. I shouldn't keep you any longer. Besides, you've heard enough from me for weeks to come.
Oh, don't be silly. Would you like me to walk you home again?
Not today, thank you. I am not quite ready to come back yet. I think I will just practice here a little more.
Of course. I'll give you some privacy.
Lisa, before you go, would you please come over for dinner sometime? I'd love to chat some more. Besides, it would be nice to get you acquainted with my husband.
It would be my absolute pleasure. I'll make sure to drop by.
Delightful. Stop by our house anytime. If you see the light, it means we're home. I'll make sure to cook us something nice. Good night, Lisa.
Good night. Well, the invitation is received. For better or for worse.
Hi there.
Hello, Lisa.
Have you seen Evgeny tonight?
I'm afraid I have.
Did something happen? Is he all right?
Nothing out of the ordinary, sadly. He got too drunk, and I refused to serve him, so he left.
Oh, do you think he went home?
I'd say chances of that are slim to none.
Does this kind of thing happen often?
It's not getting better, I can tell you that.
Where do you think he went?
I'm willing to bet that he's at that vodka bar on the other side of town. Real nasty place. And I'm not just saying that because they're my competition.
Thank you. I'll take a look there.
Hey, it's none of my business, of course. But I wouldn't drink their Cabernet if I were you. Just a friendly piece of advice.
Understood. Thank you, Arbin. That was very helpful.
Farewell. Hello, Lisa. Till next time.
What can I do you for? Come again.
Dr. Morozova, how nice to see you.
The owners don't seem to be too concerned with hygiene. The clientele doesn't seem to mind, though. Nobody must have tidied up this place since, well, ever by the looks of it.
What would you like? Let me know if you need anything else.
Good evening.
This place sure looks grimy, but not without its own kind of charm.
You're free! Free to live your life as nature intended!